Great weekend for the Avs as they beat both the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild by way of a shootout. No big-time celebration from Jesper Wallstedt in this game after the extra frame. Nathan MacKinnon, the final goal of the game. Scott Wedgwood was excellent in between the pipes and really outstanding in the shootout. The Avs score late to tie this thing up. They do go 0 for 5 on the power play, and they give up a shorty, but another fantastic game in the Central Division. And I can say right now on Sunday, March 8th at 3:03 p.m. Mountain Spring, the Central Division is over. It's done. That's it. Colorado's got the 1 seed. It's over.
Yes. They just got 4 points against the 2 teams chasing them. You don't have Gabe Landeskog now for a few weeks. You didn't have Arturi Lehkonen today. Cale Makar has got to stop hitting his own dudes. You know, I don't even want to say it.
He hit Landy in the seeds. He hit Brock Nelson in the knee, and then he tattooed Nathan MacKinnon in the back of the knee.
Yes, he sure did. Did I see someone on Twitter say that Landeskog had a dent in his cup from that? Yeah, it was like Corey Mosey. I don't even know. I'll try to find this, but
Corey Maziak.
Somebody, yeah, that guy. Looked legit. Okay. Hey, so you don't have Gabe, but guess what? You had Nazem Kadri. I thought Kadri would. Dude, it's like he never left.
It's like he never left. Didn't miss a stride.
Was great today. He was one of their best players. He's, they put him in on the second line on the initial lineup card, but that dude played the bulk of the game on the top line with Nathan MacKinnon and Marty Necas. Made himself known early on with a good back check on the power play. Because the Avs will do that. They'll give up shorthanded goals. They'll give up opportunities the other way on their own power play. But then Kadri makes a nice defensive play, gets a net front look. He was everywhere. He was, had the primary assist on McKinnon's goal. He was fast. He instantly looks like their best right wing option on the power play. Everything was crisp and smooth. Man, when everyone's healthy and you add Nas to the mix, wow. I mean, he looks every bit the player that he last was with Colorado.
And it did. I know the power play goes 0 for 5 tonight. It looked dangerous the whole time. And yeah, the second unit goes out. There's a bouncing puck. Nico Sturm goes in on a breakaway and scores. But I think it looked dangerous because Nazem Kadri was on the off wing, right? Like you were so comfortable using him on the opposite side. I think they put 29 pucks at the net in their 5 power plays this evening. And it took an all-star save from Jesper Wallstedt and an all-star block from Jonas Brodin to keep the Avs power play from going 2 of 5 rather than 0 of 5. Like it was dangerous the whole night. So I'm happy with how it went. It sucks when you're never happy when you give up a shorthanded goal. But as we're looking for good things, as we're looking for good trends on this power play, Nazem Kadri on the off wing, it automatically looked better and more in control. He was able to go receive pucks and recycle pucks. His back pressure on the first power play was awesome, man. He fit. It looked really dangerous. They had a bunch of grade A scoring opportunities. Wallstedt made a great save. Brodin made an unreal block. I think you were combined like 1 inch away from going 40% tonight rather than 0%. So you got to look at it all encompassing.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Jesper Wallstedt was really good.
So good
today. He had a great game. And his best save was the power play save. Necas high left. That was a bomb. Wallstedt gets the right pad over. Great save. And then, the Brodin block, like you mentioned, and both those come from Necas on the left wing. Like I said, loved Kadri on the right wing in this game. I thought his cross ice passes were great. Just felt like he fits right back into that system. But a couple things. Now with MacKinnon primarily operating low left, I'm noticing a pattern of either two things happening when MacKinnon gets the puck down there. He's either going for the little stuff shot or he's trying to center it to the bumper. That's another thing. I thought Brock Nelson, who's now with Kadri back, moves into that area. His timing was just a little off in that role. He couldn't connect really on any of MacKinnon's feeds, was getting his stick blocked. He was maybe a little off timing too on a couple of his looks. But okay, he'll get used to that, and they just got to figure out what to do with MacKinnon. Did I hear the TNT guys during the first intermission talk about, or maybe it was even the second intermission, talking about taking MacKinnon off power play 1? Something that we've thrown everything out there, so we have brought that up. But I heard them talking about that. I was a little.
I didn't listen to the intermission reports on TNT. I shut the game off for 20 minutes and then went back.
I don't know. That's a tough call to make if you want to do that.
MacKinnon's forcing the bumper one-timer. I think he gets that puck down low and knows that that's like the grade A scoring opportunity. But for me, it's like a 10% pass from him because he either has to like make it very quick or it has to be a perfectly feathered saucer pass. I don't love that type of play. It has to be there for me to be 100% on board. And I think MacKinnon forces it way too much. So I don't love that. I would prefer him to just take the puck hard to the net or to go back up top and allow Nichushkin and Makar to pitch and catch, or rather him use his feet to come back up top so you force that high side forward to make a decision. Are you going to stay with Nate as he rolls around the top of the zone, or are you going to sit back on what could be a drop pass to Marty Nichushkin coming in with his stick to the middle of the ice? I'd rather see them make that decision for the defense rather than make them force to the middle. I don't think it's a high percentage play. It's a high percentage play when it gets to the bumper, right? It becomes a high percentage shooting opportunity when it gets to the bumper, but it is a low percentage pass. So I don't like the ability to get there. I think he's forcing it too much.
Yeah, completely agree, but still better. Still better than it has been. They've
way better
success with Nichushkin, more true left, and now Kadri. I'm really encouraged by that, having him on power play 1. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to score some power play goals for them. So, overall, I thought they were really good in the first. I thought they dipped a little in the second, kind of forced themselves back to life a little bit in the third. And hey, it's Brett Kulak shot to Nick Waugh tip. I mean, if that's not a Joe Sakic, Chris McFarland goal, I don't know what is. Kivi Ronta was nice on that play. Thought he had a good game, but the trade deadline acquisitions, all three of them, you don't win without them today.
No, you get 3 points from the deadline acquisitions between Kulak, Waugh, and Nazem Kadri. It was a really good game for the general manager, man. Really good game for them. Minnesota's good. That's a fun team to watch. I think if you played them 5-on-5 a lot during the postseason, Colorado's going to win that series. Colorado scores better at 5-on-5 than Minnesota does, hands down. I know the Wild were really good in terms of puck possession and pursuit today, but I think over the course of a 7-game series where it's a way tighter called game, like special teams hurt the Avs today, which is crazy to think about. When you have fewer calls in the postseason, if you see Minnesota, I'm really confident on Colorado against them just because they are a better 5-on-5 scoring team. And I honestly don't think John Hines and Minnesota have the balls to start Jesper Wallstedt in the playoffs against Colorado. They should, but I don't think they have the balls to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. That's going to be interesting to follow because Gustafsson should play well, but man, this Wallstedt's upside is through the roof. Well, whether it's
loves playing the Avs.
Yeah, I know he's looked great in his starts against the Avs this year, but he's looked great overall. It certainly was in his first month or so in the season. He was lights out across the NHL. And they thought about trading him. His name was brought up, but I don't think there was a name out there that would have warranted parting with a prospect like that. I know you're trying to win now, but that's the type of player that's going to be dangerous for Minnesota for years. And the Avs are going to have to see him year in, year out. It's going to be very difficult. Nick Waugh, good overall. Had a look early on, close to net, big body. physical defensively. Speaking of physicality, you mentioned the power plays. What, 5 for Colorado, 3 ultimately for Minnesota, 2 going into overtime. And they didn't like that. They did not like the discrepancy in power plays. Nathan MacKinnon kind of with a little bit of a slight liberty hit on, what was it, Ryan Hartman, I believe. And then that was your interference matchup in overtime. So the Avs had to go to the box. They were great in OT. I thought that they picked it up a little in the third, did enough to get the game tying goal, but then in overtime, it was all Colorado.
Minnesota's power play in the overtime was their 4th. So it was closer in terms of calls, and Minnie got the call with a minute to go in 3-on-3 overtime. That's normally a kiss of death. So I thought it was at the end of the game, the referees evened it out.
Yeah, that's what that was going to be. I do think it was interference. But that's how it goes. They won. They're just going to call based on how do we get this number as close to possible for each team. It's why a slash wasn't called on the against an Avs player late in that Stars game. They're just not going to do it.
Right. You could see the Nichushkin slash coming from a mile away.
Yeah,
mile away. You knew something was going to happen like that because, well, the Avs got away with a couple of plays. They got away with the MacKinnon interference no call on McCarron. They got away with remember the quick whistle that the Avs got screwed on a couple of nights ago? It came back, right? There was a really quick whistle on Scott Wedgwood tonight, and the puck went to the high slot, and nobody was there. And the Avs got the benefit of the doubt. Most of these things balance out, and it did balance out in real time tonight, but credit to the Avs, man. When it balanced out, it felt as though they knew it was coming. They were like, yeah, we're good. Like, we're prepared for this. We can kill it off. We knew 5-on-2 in terms of power play discrepancy wasn't going to go the entire way through regulation. It felt like they were prepared. They were ready. And when it came to the 5-on-3, man, there was one grade A scoring opportunity for Matt Boldy at the top, and that was it.
Sure. Speaking of Matt Boldy, he had a great game. He's, I would talk about him with Minnesota past couple years. Like, he's got to be the guy who steps up, and he has this year. He was great for Team USA. He damn near, I think it was Makar and Taves again. He damn near split him again. But Wedgwood made
he did. I think he did split him. He got the scoring opportunity. He split him.
But this time Wedgwood made the save, unlike Jordan Binnington. Cough, cough, Team Canada. And then his shootout.
Binnington was great. Hold on, we have to stop that right there. It's funny, but Binnington was great in that tournament.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe Wedgwood. That was a great play by Boldy in the gold medal game, but maybe Wedgwood makes that save. Maybe a great shot. Maybe he does. Dude,
Wedgie looks awesome.
He looks great. He was great in the shootout. But Boldy's goal was unstoppable. That was such a great move. And Valeri Nichushkin, he has one move. He has one move that he's excellent at. He's used it like the last 3 or 4 times that he's scored in the shootout. Teams are clearly not watching tape. They're not watching that shootout tape because you should know Nichushkin's going to fake backhand and at the last second dipsy-do forehand that thing.
I think he got that from Naz. I'm almost positive Kadri, when he was back in Colorado, was the first one to do that, like, very wide back and forth. It's almost Forsberg-esque, but it's not Forsberg-y enough because you have 2 hands on your stick and you're kind of going back to your forehand rather than one hand tucking on your backhand. I can't remember who did it first. I think it was Kadri, and then Nichushkin kind of stole it from him. They both do it great.
And then Nathan MacKinnon could not shoot as one of the first 3 shooters because he was in the penalty box from the end of 3-on-3 overtime. Actually didn't quite realize that was a thing, and then I guess when you get to the 4th shooter, it's over. You can get out of the box when it goes to sudden death. And Nate, he treated it like an open ice breakaway. Little stutter at the end, but he came in with that head of steam, and that's how he scores in those situations. So great way to finish. Nathan MacKinnon, who probably interference, but close call, ultimately worked out because he came on at the right time and scored the game winner.
Your time on ice tonight for the Avalanche, Nick Waugh sees a little bit of a bump from his 8 minutes and 45 seconds against Dallas. He plays 2:16 tonight, and I think that's I think it's a little low for him in terms of what I expect in the playoffs. I expect him to be like closer to 14 minutes. So like maybe it might be 2 shifts that I'm off on. And if you take away the 5 power play opportunities that the Avs get and the 9 total power play opportunities that are in the game, he's probably closer to that 14-minute mark that I think is the sweet spot. Naz Kadri comes in and in game 1, man, plays 21-47. As you said to start off the show, it's like he never left.
I mean, first game here, damn near 22 minutes, 5 shots on goal, an assist. He's everywhere. Can you take him out of the top 6? If this is what it is, he has to play top 6 then. Like, I like Arturi Lehkonen, but what I saw from Naz today was like a little bit of a higher level. He's got a bigger body. You know,
there's more.
Valeri Nichushkin, you know, look, he was very good last game against Dallas. Thought he was a little sleepy today, actually. Didn't notice much from Val until the shootout. Naz, I mean, I'm taking him over Val and Lecky right now in the top 6.
So do you play Wah in the middle of Colton and Lehkonen then as your third line?
Yes.
I'm cool with that. And then your fourth line is Drury, O'Connor, Kelly. Your second line is Nelson, Kadri, and Nichushkin.
Yeah.
And your top line is Landeskog, McKinnon, Natchez.
Yep. You can flip-flop Nichushkin and Lehkonen if you want.
You could also flip-flop Landy and Kadri on lines 1 and 2 for me if you want.
Dude, you actually could, because the chemistry with Naz, Natchez, and McKinnon was unreal.
It was so clear that Kadri and McKinnon, and it's funny, right? Because like those guys didn't play together. Naz was your second line center, unless they were on the power play or they were somehow overlapping. But like you don't really overlap. You kind of change center for center, right? Mm-hmm. It looked like they were just line mates. They weren't line mates when they were playing in Colorado. They could be line mates in the postseason.
Yeah, that's a great point. Really didn't play much together, but my gosh, the 3 of those, like, it sucks to lose Landeskog because he was meshing, and you know he's played with Nate for years. But it looked like Landeskog, McKinnon, Natchez was the way, and then you lose Gabe, and it's like, okay, well, initial lineup card had Nichushkin up there, and Nichushkin has certainly played up there, but still in a little bit of a funk, and he's not at his best, you know, the level that Landeskog is at his best. So okay, you got Nichushkin up there, fine. But Kadri you didn't miss a beat from Landeskog. You didn't miss a beat at all. So you could, when Landy is healthy, just keep Kadri up there if that's the chemistry that keeps rolling. But that's a top 6 dude for sure. You cannot give Nazem Kadri third line minutes the way he looked tonight. He needs top 6 minutes, no doubt about it.
I'm interested to see how that power play unit works this coming week. Because I want to see the unit that played today and went 0 of 5 today, but was really, really fucking dangerous. I want to see them get a couple of games together to see if they can't break through.
Well, you're going to see, okay, you're talking about the power play here, right?
Yeah. I'm convinced Kadri's playing top 6 minutes. That dude, you didn't acquire that guy to play third line.
Oh, of course. And on the power play, like Landeskog will be net front for sure.
Instead of Nichushkin.
Instead of Nelson.
Okay.
Nelson comes off now. Does Nelson come off now?
Or does Nelson go to the bumper?
That's kind of where he was today. And he was in that front too.
I'd put Nelson at the bumper. I'd move Nichushkin off the top power play unit.
Was Nichushkin out on the top power play unit today?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't even notice him. That's not good because that big body needs to be way more aggressive net front. Okay, so Landeskog net front, Kadri right wing, yeah, Nelson bumper. No, we're overloaded. Because you got McKinnon and Natchez, Landeskog, Kadri, Makar. Nelson has to come off then. If you're gonna put Nazem Kadri on the first power play unit, then Naz is taking face-offs. Naz replaces Nelson.
Why?
You down with that?
Why does Nelson have to come off?
Because Natchez and McKinnon are out there. I'm talking when Landeskog is back.
Okay. With full health. Full health. Sure. Yeah. I'm fine with that. So you take a little bit of a dip on faceoffs You will lose a little bit.
Still good at faceoffs.
He's not Brock Nelson.
He's not Brock Nelson.
But you have Landy out there, and Landy's a pretty solid faceoff guy too on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a little bit of a step down.
Like Nelson's just look, he's been good. Oh, look, it's been one of the worst power plays in the league. Okay, so obviously it's not perfect, and I do think Brock Nelson, as good of a season he's had, he's been far more effective 5-on-5 than on the power play.
Yes,
he's a little too. I mean, he's not that mover, even though he's a big guy. He's not really a mover net front. The one-timer on the right side's good, but not great. He's just a little too. He's not a speed guy. And Kadri, even though he's not a speed guy, his movements are so quick. He's so agile. He can float from spot to spot. His one-timer's a little more aggressive. Everything's a little more aggressive with Kadri.
And Kadri's elite, man. We've talked about this before. I will always remember this game. I think it was right before COVID when Kadri was a Leaf, and that power play was just like Edmonton Oilers level of good. And Kadri was playing the bumper. And I think they came in, I think they scored like 7 goals on the Avs or something like that. It was a super high scoring game. And the Toronto power play ruined the Avs. And Kadri scored 2 of them from the bumper. If McKinnon wants to force the bumper one-timer, Kadri's the guy to do it with.
Sure. And then you can, I could see Kadri and Landeskog doing a real good job of kind of rotating middle to right based on the play. Those 2 dudes are heady. They're smart. They have great awareness. They're also great players. Landeskog and Kadri is my 2 left-handed shots in that area on the power play. Love that. So, it's going to help the power play. After seeing what I saw today, it is going to do wonders for the power play. I believe that. It's been one of the worst in the league. So wonders could just be getting the middle of the league. And that's fucking wonders. Okay. And I think Kadri is going to do that. And it's a top 6 dude. And now you're sliding maybe Lehkonen or Nichushkin down to your third line. Dirty. Just absolutely dirty.
Landeskog's injury update. It's not the knee. Like, he got hit in the seeds. He got hit square in the nuts in that Dallas game. It's a groin injury because of a puck hitting him in the groin. So don't worry about the knee. Don't worry about him like pulling a groin or tweaking something. Like, he got hit in an uncomfortable area, and I'm sure there is bruising and swelling, and they're like, sit this one out for a little bit to make sure that you can continue to have kids down the road. Week to week is the timeline that the doctors gave Bednar according to Evan Rowell. So don't worry about the knee. You can worry about Landy's beanbag.
Well, once again, it's friendly fire from Cale. Yeah, brutal. One of the scariest things that a man can deal with. There's no doubt about it. Fortunately, week to week, be overly precautious, and you certainly don't mess around with that area. Okay, you don't mess around with that area. But whether it's the Avs or the Nuggets, like, they keep sustaining injuries, but none of them are season ending.
Yeah, you got great news back on Jamal Murray today.
You got great news back on Murray. Lehkonen week to week. Landeskog week to week. We've had a ton of week to weeks. It's kind of been the case for the Nuggets as well. As long as everybody's, man, and for Gabe himself, wouldn't that be the worst? 3 years away. Then it's a physical sport. You break your ribs sliding into the post. You take a puck to the nuts. It's like, can I catch a break? Look at all the hard work I put in. 3 years of rehab. All of the great hockey karma I put out there. And now I'm going to take one in the giblets.
You know what, man?
Thank goodness Gabe has week to week.
If Gabe has to sit out the next, I don't know, he comes back on, this is worst case scenario. He comes back March 28th against Winnipeg at home. Is that the worst thing in the world? No. It's not. You get a few games in on the home stretch. You get your legs back underneath you, and they're still relatively fresh. Like, if this is just an injury that doesn't have long-term implications, and it's not like, oh yeah, you tweaked your groin, you pulled your groin, you have a calf strain, something like that could get worse with more wear and tear. This is just keeping his legs fresh. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's almost like a good excuse to keep the legs fresh, like you said, not risk further injury. Look at the cushion that you have created, this season overall, but certainly with the last 2 games against the 2 teams directly behind you. Versus Edmonton on Tuesday, dude. I mean, you're scoring goals in that game, right? First of all, you're scoring goals in that game. I guess we're seeing Blackwood probably. What'd you make of Wedgwood getting the nod coming off of? Did you expect that? Wedgwood today?
Yeah, I did. I expected it. I expected Bednar to go with the hot hand. I don't know who to see on Tuesday. I would expect that they probably throw Blackwood to see if he can bounce back and give them the same goaltending they've gotten all year, which has been well above average, if not borderline elite from both of them. I would think Blackwood goes Tuesday, but no, I wasn't shocked today that Wedgwood got the option because he stopped all 10 shots that he saw against Dallas, man. Like you come in, you stop 10 shots, 2 shootout opportunities, you get the start. That's all yours.
Probably would have been a Wedgwood start either way, just given rotation pattern. It's been bulk Blackwood so far. Wedgwood wasn't even supposed to play in Dallas, so it probably would have been his start either way. I think at home, because I think McKenzie was a little rattled in Dallas. I do. I think that crowd and that energy and that noise got to him a little bit. I think that's part of why he flubs that puck behind the net and doesn't, communicate with Devon Taves. I think he was a little overwhelmed. And you make a mistake like that, you hear the crowd go absolutely batshit, and you're a little like, oh shit. Back on home ice, the friendly confines against an underachieving team this year. I think that's a good, but still a talented team. Go get some big saves against McDavid and Draisaitl. You're at home, get your confidence up. And then I throw Wedgwood at Seattle, and that's going to be a hostile environment too. Like Seattle's going to think like, okay, we were buyers at the deadline. They're coming to our building. We beat these dudes in the playoffs.
Could be a first round matchup.
But it's still a favorable matchup, though. Like schedule coming up here: Edmonton, Seattle, Winnipeg, Pittsburgh before Dallas. Those are four pretty winnable games.
I mean, there are some spots to be had in the Pacific and the wild card, brother. Like Anaheim leads the Pacific with a game in hand over Vegas and Edmonton. 1 point over Vegas, 5 points over Edmonton. Edmonton has a 1 point lead on Seattle. Seattle has a game in hand on Edmonton. They currently sit in the wild card 2 spot, 5 points behind the Utah Mammoth with a game in hand on Utah. And San Jose has a game in hand on Seattle, 2 games in hand on Utah, and 2 games in hand on Edmonton. And they're just 1 point behind Seattle and 2 points behind Edmonton. Like Edmonton they're playing with fire right now.
Yeah, and the last team you want to travel to right now when you're, fighting for your playoff lives in a way is to Colorado. And Colorado, hey, if you're the San Jose Sharks, you're a massive Avs fan next couple games. Avs go get Oilers and Kraken. Sharks have a chance to jump right up into that thing. So I see winnable games, though. I think that Edmonton is just down right now a little bit, and now you have Nas. You got all the momentum in the world. No reason, even without Landeskog and Lehkonen, that this isn't a big 4-game stretch until you host the Stars again. And I imagine Mikko's back for that one. Mikko's back, and the Stars will be looking for some revenge against you.
Mikko should be back by then. Dallas they're a conundrum. Are they going to beat Minnesota?
Well, Colorado and Minnesota, what's essentially split the season series, 2 overtime wins apiece and 2 regulation wins apiece. I think that's about as even as you can get in the season series between Colorado and Minnesota. Dude, if Minnesota comes out of the Dallas series, Minnesota's going to be tough for Colorado.
I mean, there's no easy matchup with whoever comes out of the 2-3 in the Central. You mentioned Naz, obviously, and we've been talking about him a lot. Here's some Nazem Kadri from the locker room.
Well, how was that?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, emotional. Just seeing the support I get here, it's absolutely incredible. So it just makes me want to play harder for these fans and this team.
Was there a moment when you realized where you were again back on the Avs ice? Is there a moment that kind of hit you like, I'm back?
Yeah, several times over the last 24 hours. I think it's been, it's been a quick turnaround, and certainly something that's out of my comfort zone. I've never been a deadline guy, but to come here and play in front of these fans and play with this team is exactly what I could have asked for.
Your first stint here, you didn't play a lot of wing with Nathan MacKinnon. What was that like?
I haven't played wing in years, actually. And when I found out about that, I was mentally, I knew I had to be a little bit sharp today. So I don't mind playing it. I mean, as a centerman, I think hopping over to the wing is a lot easier than a winger hopping over to center. So, playing with those two guys, they make it easy on me. So, we were able to have some chemistry tonight and make some great plays.
Kind of what we were talking about yesterday, Spring, of like, I'm a center, I can play anywhere.
Sure, but he is also saying he hasn't played wing in years. Didn't look like it today. And yeah, we talked about that yesterday, how that's not a giant ask. But guess what, Naz? Get ready to learn wing. I mean, that's where you're playing. You're a wing on this team because I need you in the top six after what I saw today. And you got two centers, MacKinnon and Nelson. So then how good you looked on the wing, you're a wing now. And guess what? He's probably going to be a wing because I don't think they traded for Naz for him to be the one that they might flip in the offseason to create some cap space that they need. That's going to be...
No, I think he's here.
Yeah, that's going to be Colton, Nichushkin, something like that. That's not... Naz is here to stay. Brock Nelson's here to stay. Obviously, Nathan MacKinnon is here to stay. So, dude, I think Naz is a wing. I think he's a first or second line wing for the next couple years for Colorado.
Here's a little bit more from Kadri.
I think so. I mean, hope so. I know it's, it's different having a guy come into your room mid-season like this. I mean, these guys have been rolling, and it was a warm welcome for sure. So I couldn't have asked for anything better. I just can't wait to kind of sit back tonight and just relax and not have to do anything.
That felt like a playoff game. Like, in a way, was that a good thing? Just jump right into it because that's what it's going to be like down the stretch.
Felt exactly that way, and that's why for me I think it was nice to just immediately be thrown right into the fire and understand what these games are going to be like. And obviously I'm well aware of that, but I think when you play great teams, you elevate your play.
That little smile that he gives, I don't know who asked the question. It almost sounded like it was Moj who was asking the question there. But I know the TV guys were off. TV guys were off tonight. They're going to be off this afternoon, and they'll be off on Tuesday. Both of those are TNT nationally televised games. I loved the little smile that he gave when they said playoff style hockey, because he's been missing that in Calgary. Like, it's so very clear that when you go over there and you take your money and you don't see the playoffs for almost 4 seasons, you kind of lose some energy as a hockey player.
Yeah, you do. He signed with the Calgary Flames because of money. And there's no one begrudges him for that, right?
Not at all.
He signed in Calgary, okay? He didn't sign in Southern California or South Beach with the Panthers, So unless the Flames are good, what incentive does he have to want to remain? I mean, I'm sure he's been there a few years. I'm sure his family has, made friends and, all that stuff.
He's from Canada. He's not from Alberta. He's from London, Ontario.
He's not from Calgary, okay? So if you have a chance to, it wasn't because, like, Colton Parayko didn't want to go play in Buffalo, right? Even though Buffalo is, like, really good. He was like, I don't want to live in Buffalo, New York. Vincent Trocheck, for some reason, didn't want to go west of the Mississippi. Okay. Naz, like, he was chomping at the bit to get to Denver, from Calgary, where the team was not great. and he was playing well. No, these were meaningless games, but I was thinking, he signs the big deal with the Flames, or at least at the time what it was. It's like, is he going to be, because with Toronto, he was a good player. Then he takes this next step with Colorado, but how much of that is, playing with Nathan McKinnon and everybody else? What happens when you're in Calgary and it's you and some okay guys? He played really well. And now he's playing meaningful games, and he's proven that he's a legitimate top 6 player in this league. Like, there's no question about it now. So yeah, he doesn't have to waste away in Calgary. There was no benefit for him to be there anymore. And now he gets to come play for the team that he truly wants to play for more than any other team.
Yeah, and it's not like you're giving up money, right? You're just splitting that cash 80-20 between Colorado and Calgary. So he's getting his cake and eating it too at this point. He just had to wait 3.5 seasons to get both of those things in the fold. And unfortunately, it coincides with the Avalanche only winning 1 playoff series in those 3.5 years. The hope is that you bring him here and now you get back to another cup final. It begs the question, did you make the wrong decision? And right now, I think you'll get your confirmation will come this postseason run. If you win the West and you go to another cup final, you can look back at the 2022-23 offseason and go, the offseason after the 2022 cup going into the 23 regular season, you can go, they made the wrong decision between Nichushkin and Nazem Kadri.
Except now they do have both. They do have both, and they also have a really good point from Mish on YouTube. You also didn't have Landy for those seasons. So there is a little bit of an unknown variable there. Yeah. Man, if they had known about the Landeskog situation, think about that. They could have just LTIR'd, or at least if they knew how long it would have gone.
Hindsight 2020, yeah.
Let's try Ryan Johansson. They could have tried. They could have gotten Nas back with that LTR IR Landeskog money. It's like the same money. They're both $7 million a year. Yeah, I liked the Nichushkin move at the time. I was pro Nichushkin over Kadri at the time. Nichushkin's younger. Nichushkin, until the past couple months, and he looked really good against Dallas, has been excellent. Sans for the off the ice, and that's terrible. I mean, because of the timing of it.
Inexcusable. You cost your team 2 playoff runs.
Outside of that, the player on the ice has been really good. And Nichushkin's not his play is not going to dip. Had he gone to the Flames, you would have seen Nichushkin be like a 20 to 30 goal scorer, for the next few years. He would have had his moments. Maybe he would have gotten moved to a better team, and he would have still been enough. He's going to be an effective player in this league still. He's going to. He's like 30 years old. So now you have both. And you got Gabe Landeskog back. But you just had to give up a couple assets to get Nas back. You know what? That's the way it goes. And I don't care at all.
Here's DMac's locker room report from Ball Arena.
All right, guys. Just got out of the locker room and talking to Bednar and Kadri. And what a game. 3-2 shootout win. Jared Bednar tapped Kadri on the shoulder, said, let's go. Kadri didn't know he was going to go for the shootout, that is. And also, he really didn't know he was going to play forward. He says he doesn't remember doing that for years. And they were joking about Gabe getting knocked in the nads Friday, but apparently it was a lot more serious than everybody was led to believe. I can't imagine how much that actually hurt. So you did something different. Kadri played wing, which is unusual, but the atmosphere was absolutely electric. Kadri was bummed that he couldn't convert the shootout. That had been amazing, by the way, had he been able to do that. But Nate got it on the next shot, and they win once again. So there's still out Lehkonen, Landeskog, and O'Connor. That's a full line. But the mood after the game is there's so much flexibility on being able to do whatever they want to do. There's a lot of room to grow. What's crazy after these past couple of games is the fact that the Avs, Stars, or Wild, one of those teams will not be in the Stanley Cup final or in the Western Conference final. I think we've seen the 3 best teams, but that's just my take on it. Kadri was in a great mood. He came back last night to the airport and actually got some trainers to come with him to the arena last night to get set up for today. He said he got recognized a couple times, and he's happy just to take a breath as it's been a whirlwind 48 hours for him. But what an atmosphere. Great to have Kadri back. I hope Gabe's okay. That's concerning a little bit. And yeah, Scott Wedgwood, huh? How about that? So a little goalie debate. We'll let you guys have at it. Great win for the Avalanche. Great win on Friday. Great win here. Back to you guys.
DMac's locker room report. Love how he says Kadri.
Kadri.
The biggest thing you get there is the locker room realizes how multiple they are. And you and I talked about it at the trade deadline when they bring in Waugh, when they bring in Kadri a couple of nights ago. We talked about it for almost an hour. You can play those guys wherever you want. They can be up and down the lineup. You can be comfortable with Naz Kadri as your third line center, as your second line left wing. You can be comfortable with him on his off wing on power play 1. You can be comfortable with him playing penalty kill minutes for you. The same thing with Nicholas Waugh. Is he going to be a top line player? No, but in a pinch, can he give you a couple of shifts at second line right wing or second line center? Yeah, he can give you a couple of minutes. He can be a penalty killer. If you have a couple of guys go down to injury or they're out for a 5-minute fighting major, could you throw Nick Waugh's big ass in front of the net for a power play? You sure could. Like, it's so very clear that McFarland and Sakic and Bednar looked at Paul Maurice and the Florida Panthers, looked at Peter DeBoer and the Dallas Stars and went, look at all the fucking centers. Just look at all the centers on those rosters and look at how deep they are and how difficult they are to game plan for, because you can't expect anything. Now they have that. It's amazing.
Thank goodness they made the Kadri trade, or, with because you didn't know when you made that trade, you had no idea that Gabe Landeskog that night would take a puck to the groin and that he would go week to week. So if you didn't make the Kadri trade, then you're without Landeskog and Lehkonen today, and you don't have Kadri. So shoot, you need 2 dudes into your top 6. Now you need, let's see. I mean, Nichushkin is probably definitely on your top line all game then with McKinnon and Natchez, and then it's Nelson, Colton, Kelly. Nelson, Colton, Brindley. I thought Gavin Brindley was a little better tonight. Maybe, as he continues to see more reps. Had a real nice zone entry that I noticed tonight or today did Gavin Brindley. But, thank goodness they trade for Kadri, or you might not win today. You're probably not winning today. And the next couple weeks without Lehkonen and Landeskog would have been a slog. And now maybe you're talking about Dallas and or Minnesota getting right there. And
now it's over. And now now with 20 games to go in the regular season, you're the Central Division champions. It's over.
Should somebody not named, McKinnon or Natchez in the playoffs get hurt, you don't miss a beat. You still have 6 worthy top 6 skaters instead. Yeah,
you're not worrying about having to put like Miles Wood on your second line right wing.
And now in the playoffs, you're like, ooh, you're missing, like, there's one wing on your second line that you don't trust, and that can be everything.
Yeah, Yoel Kiviranta has to move up and play second line minutes for you. And that happened in the postseason over the past couple of years. And you go, well, like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but he shouldn't be there. Now your worst case scenario is a couple of guys go down and you're like, okay, we're going to move one of our centermen over to the wing and we're not really going to play our fourth line as much. They're in a really good spot. Like, say what you want about McFarland and the deals that didn't move last year, the deals that didn't work the year prior to that. I think the front office has done a really, really good job. And I think Chris is a really, really smart hockey mind. I like him personally as well. I'll be like very transparent about that. I just like the guy. He and Joe have shown the ability to adapt and to be straight-faced about what they're not good at and what has killed them in the past. They've done it this year.
They were, I mean, last year, I thought they were like an A+ last year. First retooling the goaltending room in the first part of the season, then getting Nichushkin and Drury for Rantanen, and then trading for Brock Nelson. And I liked the Charlie Coyle trade. Nick Waugh is Charlie Coyle-esque. And then you added Kadri. And now you did have Landeskog in the playoffs last year, but now would love to see that, because he was ramping up and then starts looking good, breaks his ribs. It comes back looking good, hitting the groin. It's like, damn, I want to see he hasn't even truly gotten like that 3-week stretch where he had been ramped up. We had that early in the season, but the minutes were being managed and you could tell he wasn't on his A game. And then right when he starts to get there, ribs and nuts. And it's like, damn, man, I want to see like 3 weeks. Can we give this man 3 weeks? It is
the old.
And so now, people
The Adam and Eve injuries
at another radio station can be like, he only has 9 goals this year. What's going on? Well, because he broke his ribs and his balls. I don't know what you want him to do. Okay. Now they're even like, they did an excellent job last year and they took it to another level by now. Now adding Kadri was like that next level that they almost couldn't even get to. They couldn't even get to that next level until this year when the stars just kind of aligned. Landeskog's back. You already got Nelson. You already did everything else. Now you can take that next step. And that's like your final, like this is final boss. The final boss move is adding Nazem Kadri. If this doesn't work, nothing will work. Because
I agree.
This is as much as you could. This is the peak of what you can do.
If this doesn't work, nothing's going to work, because you will have to change drastically next offseason. We told you 18 players under contract up to your 23 rostered players, and they only have like $4.5 million of projected cap space. So they're going to have to move out a player and bring in some cheaper guys, man. It is get it done now and then figure it out afterwards. Like, this is your best chance. Without a doubt, it is your best shot. I do feel the same way I felt in 2022, man. Like 2022, I went, how are they going to get beat? Who's going to beat them?
And that was their best shot in that little mini window. Like, it's an extended window with McKinnon and Makar, right? But kind of no wonder, like, it took them a few years. I haven't won in a few years, right? Because you looked at it like with some of the guys who, you knew you had to move or money coming off or whatever it was. Like, now's the year to strike. And they did. And yeah, they've been really good since, but it's a process to get, and the salary cap is so restrictive. And, it can be 2-3 years until, when you had that strike now to get another strike now. And now they got another strike now. Like, this feels like 2022.
They're going to get next year is going to be really tough. The 26-27 season is going to be tough. If you can find a way to get through that without moving on from too many pieces or one big time piece, you get so much relief in 27-28. Because I think you're going to have like $110 million cap in 27-28. And I also have this sneaking feeling, and this is just me. I have no insider information on this whatsoever. I don't think that they make this move for Naz Kadri, because everything that Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic have done over the past couple of years has been with an eye toward Cale Makar's deal. I don't think they make this deal for Naz Kadri without having some sort of feeling that, like, Cale's not going to bend them over the barrel. I think he's going to give them some sort of a discount. I think it's not going to be crazy, but I don't think he's going to go pay me the most that any player has ever been paid. For some reason, the Kadri deal makes me feel that way. Because if everything you're doing is with an eye toward the Cale Makar extension, the Kadri deal doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. You didn't get enough retention for the Kadri deal to make sense. Unless you have this kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hey, Cale, you're not going to fuck us, right? No, I got you. Don't worry. Like, we're going to be good to each other here.
Well, no matter what, it gets tougher. And it's funny because, they play the Wild today, and like Kaprizov signing that $17 million per, is like that's what makes it so interesting because Cale could go then get like at least 17. You would think because he's better and Kaprizov's very, very good. Let's see, Draisaitl at 14, and I don't think there's anyone who's gone beyond that since Kaprizov, but I don't think his money hasn't kicked in, but it will. So Draisaitl at 14. I mean, because it's still going to be a pretty penny. You know, I don't think you're right. He has the makeup where, and I know you may have heard something, emphasis on may. I don't think he goes to the 17 that Kaprizov has.
I've heard nothing.
You've heard nothing.
Okay. These are just my nuts talking right now, man. I've heard nothing.
You've heard nothing.
Nothing. This is just me going, this is me doing my Windhorst if so facto.
Sure.
Why would this happen when they're doing all of these things in the background without something telling you that it's going to be okay? This is my Windhorsty.
Yeah. Because the funny thing is, like, so my point is, like, Cale could get 17. He could get at least. That would hurt the team so much, man. That hurts so much.
Dahlin is the highest paid defenseman right now at 11 million.
Yeah, and
so like,
I'm just saying, he's
do you
so
give
good.
him? Do you give him like Nate's deal, or do you give him 13?
You know, is it because he's a defenseman? Because he has every right to at least get Draisaitl's 14 mil. He has every right to that.
I would be 14 million. I would run away with. 14 million is highway robbery for the Avalanche. I would give him 14 million and not even have, like, if that's the number, I go sign it right now. Sign it before you come to your senses. Sign it.
I mean, I would think, but this is a newer market, so I'm unsure of how to, because what the Wild giving Kaprizov 17 mil is just like it's crazy. Is it so crazy that it changes nothing, or does it change everything as something like this normally would?
So Thomas Harley.
In which case, the 14, yeah, and if that is the case, then I'm like happily accepting 14 million.
Thomas Harley signed his extension, which kicks in next year at $10.5 million. They signed that this offseason, knowing what the cap is going to be, and signing that with the Rantanen extension, the McKinnon, the McDavid, the Draisaitl, and the Kaprizov extensions already in place. So is Cale going to get $8 million more than Thomas Harley? Is he worth 50% more than Thomas Harley? That's the question. So like, I don't think we're having the conversation of Cale Makar versus the best centers in the world, right? If this was Nathan McKinnon coming up, then we're talking about that 17, 18, $19 million range, but we're talking about a D.
I know we're talking. That's where, so we haven't seen the elite D get paid yet. And we're about to. Look, I think he could get, because if you're looking at it strictly from if Cale wants to make as much money as he possibly can perspective, and apparently that's what Mikko Rantanen did. Hey, like, and obviously we know it didn't quite work out the way he wanted to, but that's what he wanted.
Yeah, it was the same deal that he would have gotten here.
It is, which is irony and hilarious, but he did want the most money he could get. If Cale views it that way, then, you know, his team could look at it and say, if we hit the
18 minimum.
If we hit the open market,
18 minimum.
Think about the bidding war that there would be. And then, yeah, you are looking at 18 minimum. Even if, yeah, he's a defenseman. He's not a forward. I mean, these are numbers that we might be about to see that we have not quite seen. And it's going to be so interesting to see what that does to teams. Like, what's going to happen in Minnesota as the years of that 17 million. I know the cap's going to go up, but it really doesn't go up a ton every year. It does go up, but it doesn't go up like this crazy amount. So it's going to be fascinating to see.
I'm trying to find, so the Erik Karlsson deal was signed in 2020, I think.
Sounds about right.
I'm almost positive it was signed in maybe 2019 or something like that. It was signed. And that was $11.5 million. And he became the highest paid defenseman in the league by $500,000 over Drew Doughty. Erik Karlsson was at the height of his powers then, right? At that $11 million deal. Connor McDavid in the same season was making, hold on, sorry. I gotta change my parameters here. McDavid was making 12 and a half. So if we're talking greatest player in the world and greatest defenseman in the world in terms of money, he was $1 million less than the greatest center in the world. And that deal around the NHL was like a crazy number to throw out to a defenseman. And Cale at the height of his powers is better than Erik Karlsson, but it's not a chasm, right? Like prime Erik Karlsson was unfreaking believable. And he was kind of a similar player, just like the best skater in the league and an unbelievable passer and can put up 100 points. They're very comparable hockey players in their primes. So what I'm looking at is Kaprizov's deal kind of fucks you because it's 17 a year. So then we're looking at a floor of 16. But if you go the Wild are idiots and the Kaprizov deal is
that's what I wonder. The NHL
it's a Fugazi, it's a
look at
Fugazi,
that and say that was so stupid. None of us are going to follow that.
So then you look at what you're looking at right now is the Draisaitl deal. And you go, we'll give you Draisaitl money. We will give you $14 million, what Leon Draisaitl got, and that's the contract.
Yes.
I'm just trying to show you like what history tells us about this deal.
And then, Kaprizov is not, he's not McDavid, he's not McKinnon, Draisaitl, a couple other guys. He's really good. He's like top 5, 5th-ish, I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark. But
it's a fake deal, man. He also plays a wing. It's a fake deal. It's weird.
You're also talking. It's not even McDavid, but if that's the highest paid forward, and then Karlsson was just $1 million or $2 million below McDavid at the time, then Cale's looking at like $15-ish million if you're going by the metric that you just alluded to, which is just one piece of this equation. There's so many different ways that you can look at this, but again. Like if Cale extends this summer, like we all kind of just expect him to,
I think you have to guarantee it because this is the last summer that you can extend on 8-year deals at home. They get rid of that and moves down to 7 the following offseason.
Well, then it's going to be interesting if he does agree to an extension this summer. It's going to be interesting to see what the number is. If it's 15 or so, then that's a discount. He's actually giving you a little bit of a discount,
especially on the back end of the deal,
because he has every right to push this to free agency and get him. If he goes to free agency, he could get more than Kaprizov got, because it's going to be like, holy crap, that dude's on the market. The Wild did it. What's preventing another team from paying Cale Makar stupid money?
8 by 15, and I run away. If I'm Chris and Joe, I'm streaking down Blake Street if I get 8 by 15.
Because he could hit the open market the following summer and get 7 by 18.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he could.
So if he doesn't, so that means if he signs this offseason, it is a discount. Unless he immediately signs 8 for 7 or 7 or 8 for 17.
How nice would that be to not have to like worry about this? You win a cup and they're like, yeah, we got Cale done as well.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy to think about. I'm happy that I did that little exercise very quickly.
This is why, like, the Wild, they're not going to be able to re-sign Quinn Hughes, right? It's going to be fascinating to see what that $17 million does to that team. It's all fun and games right now, but what is that going to do in 2 years?
Minnesota has $15.3 million of projected cap space next season, but only 15 of 23 players signed. And Quinn Hughes is due he's due around the $15 million range.
Yes.
That's who Quinn Hughes is.
He is.
Quinn and Cale are like the same guy in terms of money.
Very similar money.
So that's a jump up. What does Quinn Hughes make right now? Hughes makes 7.8. So you're adding 7. You're taking away half of that cap. And then Minnesota would still have to add another 7 players with $7 million remaining. They're in a tough spot.
Yeah. And
but Quinn's deal, much like Cale's, doesn't kick in until the season after next.
Sure. So yeah, like they'll figure it out. Like they will figure it out, but you're going to see, again, it's going to be Nichushkin, Colton, something like that gone, is what it is. And they'll replace that, but will they replace that to that level that quickly? I don't know. So again, it feels 2022-ish where you got to go get this thing done right now.
You got to get it done. Hey, they're in a great spot. Like we said to start off the show, the Central's over, man. Colorado's got the 1 seed. You guys can file that away. Colorado's playing at home for the remainder of the postseason, and you're going to see whoever comes out of that bloodbath between Dallas and Minnesota. Hopefully your 8 seed matchup isn't like Edmonton, because that would not be fun. Hopefully it's San Jose, and then it's not, it's a fun matchup to watch, but it's also like a 4 or 5 game series. They're in a great spot, Spring, and Tuesday night is going to be an absolute delight to watch against the Edmonton Oilers, who are desperate for points.
Yeah, and just thank goodness for Nazem Kadri. I think that and McFarland and Sakic for getting that deal done, because now Landeskog's out week to week, and man, but beyond that, if everyone's healthy for the playoffs, they're beyond loaded because Nazem Kadri looked like a dude today. That top line was so fun to watch today. Nas fit like a glove. So can't wait to watch it against McDavid and Draisaitl on Tuesday night.
We'll see you guys on Tuesday evening. Avs play at I think it's the late game. I think it's 8 p.m. So Spring and I will be on sometime around 11 or so after the Avs take on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, but they sweep the weekend, the Central Division weekend. They get a shootout win in Dallas. They get a shootout win at home against Minnesota. The Avs have won 4 straight. They've got a 9-point lead in the Central Division with 20 games remaining. For Spring, I'm Raj. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you on Tuesday night.